Welcome, family. Welcome to Monday Quality Talks MQT7. Wow, what a week! What a week! We are just a few weeks away from seeing the end of 2020. I hope that you can hear me well, that the volume of my microphone is optimal. And just in case, I will be indeed, adding a little bit more volume. Please make yourself be seen in the chats if you're not too shy. Of course, there's no obligations whatsoever. And well, family, can I say, man? First of all, thank you. Thank you for tuning in with me for this this third installment on YouTube for Monday Quality Talks. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to share some of my personal thoughts, ideas, and things that tend to call, my attention. Today is Monday, the 14th of December. Wherever you are located in the world, whatever you may be doing right now, I thank you for being, here and checking out this live, which will be about an hour long. And as I will be touching today on the topic of the perception of success, I want to first start by making sure that I greet you accordingly, that I make sure you are serenaded as it needs to be done for every Monday Quality Talks. And so here we go. Family, I wish upon each and every one of you to have a fantastic start of the week. May this new week unfolds amazing opportunities. First and foremost, great health, both mentally and physically, but obviously also opportunities, because really that is what we need, opportunities, in my personal opinion. We ask for money, we want this, we want that, but the truth is that I think we are not always aware that what brings money and what brings any sort of happiness is an opportunity. And having the sense to catch that very moment and make it yours. And so for that reason, yes, I wish each and every one of you, no matter your beliefs, no matter your orientations, whatever the case may be, nothing but beauty, health, and accomplishment of your visions. As I'm about to start, I also want to acknowledge the fact that last week was a bit of a heavy Monday Quality Talks. I have received a couple of comments and a couple of, I would say, I would say comments from people that are close to me, people that know me, that were like, "Yo, man, what's happening, man? You had a lot to speak on," and yes, it is indeed interesting how when one decides to be open about a given situation, and in this case, I was talking about mental health, how uncomfortable people get, and how everybody all of a sudden is like, but I'm good, I'm all right. Not you, man. You're not supposed to be this. You're not supposed to be that. And it's like, it's not about that, man. And I think that I understand that this makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It's indeed an uncomfortable topic to be able to be open enough about what it is that you're going through, and being able to acknowledge, you know, um, the the fact that you're probably going through your own limitations, and at a certain point, it is better, as I had said before. I won't repeat myself again, but it is indeed better to refrain from doing more just because you think that it's okay. It is actually okay to take a break. And I will repeat, you need to take a break before you break. Even though today is not about the topic, but I think it's important to echo what I have said and spoke about last week, because today's conversation is completely related to it. Really look at my Monday Quality Talks as a series of conversations that are all intricately connected in ways or others, but they are connected. Perception of success, to the very point of this conversation. Perception of success is, to say the least, something that is abstract. And I took a couple of notes today as I was, myself trying to, think, when I was thinking about the idea of what it means to be successful, huh, I can and I did some research as well online, and I found the following. There's, there's many types of success, but I think we could, generalize the idea between, in two parts. There is the material success, and there is the spiritual success per se. And I think today we're going to try to develop that idea of perception of success with as many details as it's possible within the time given for this live. And so let me get right into it. Success is what we all, or most people, try to achieve. Most of the time, success is shoved in your throat from the very moment you start going to school as a child. And if you recall, those of you, welcome Ellie, how are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Welcome everyone. If you recall, as a child, you were told that you needed to bring good grades. You needed to be the best. You needed to be that. You needed to be this. You needed to be that. Da da da. I have nothing against that idea of results-driven sort of education and sense of raising one into trying to be the best version of themselves when it comes to what society may expect of you or of them. But I think that when I look at my personal education, for example, I was expected to eventually become a lawyer, eventually do a series of studies that will lead me to become something else than what I have chosen my path to be. I didn't encounter too much opposition to my desires, but I definitely did. I did have to go through the speech of, well, since this is your choice, you better deliver. You better not disappoint. And, we spent everything we spent and given you everything we've given you for you to know and to be well aware that this cannot be in vain. And that is a massive pressure. But I didn't shy away from the challenge now. And I promised my father at the time, I said, okay, don't worry, you'll see for yourself. I'll show you. And he saw, I delivered. And so perception of success first came from me. What did I perceive success as? Was success something that needed to be what my father or my mother or my family wanted me to be? Was me going to MIT or me going to Harvard or whichever university, which I was not even shit for, and not even qualified for, because I never really was qualified for studies like that. I've always been into learning things that I liked to learn and learning things by myself. So definitely I wasn't made for that kind of system. And at the time, it's not like now where you have like all these curriculums that allow you to sort of like fine tune, the type of expertise you're trying to develop and the field that you're trying to be into, and I think that, this is the beauty of, some of the people from my generation and a little bit older who have decided to, put in place a series of things that allow the youth nowadays to be able to, have things that is a bit more catered for them, even though there's a lot of, questions that can be raised upon education and clearly, the fact that it's not necessarily what most say they wish to be, but anyway, let's just say that you're capable to do what you want to do in terms of studies if there's one particular type of area you're more skilled at now than before. All right. So let me tell you, when did I feel my first sense of success? Because success brings a certain sentiment of pride. If I recall well, there was a few, but one major sense of pride directly connected to the topic was when I got my first project signed on Little Louis Vega's label, Vega Records. Little Louis Vega, for those of you who may not know, he's like the equivalent of Miles Davis, but for house music. And legend, somebody who has accomplished a lot and still is doing a lot, and he signed my first project, which was a remix I did with one of his artists at the time, Mr. V. So I did the remix, and Mr. V kind of like did the whole mix down and rearranged it a little bit, and then they release it on Vega Records. So you have to bear in mind that's like for you to have maybe a point of reference. It's like your dream is to work with Drake, and boom, here you go. You got Party Next Door doing a joint with you, releasing it on Drake's label, and then next thing you know, after that, consequently you become a artist on OVU. That's pretty much what it was. I saw in me and in my father's and in my mother's eyes at that moment that they perceived the beginning of something that looked like somewhat of a successful career. because they didn't really help me besides just supporting me. Um, my father gave me a little bit of money to work on my first album at the time, which never came out. Um, but that's the story for another time. So seeing me doing everything that I've done with the little means that I had, having had the chance to work with some of my biggest legends and people that afterwards became my mentors, Shun Day, Alton Miller, etc. They were like, "Yo, this kid is up to something. This kid is up to something," and I think that you know we need to let him do his thing, and give him more credit. And so that was solidified when my father joined me one night, very late. Louis Vega was playing in Belgium in a club. Forgot the name of the club, a famous club in Belgium. And it was like about 2.5 hours away from where we lived. And Louis was like, "Yo, I'm in town, let's link up." So I asked my mom. I was like, "No, no, no, it's too dangerous." It was wintry. Actually, it was winter time. And so my father was like, "No, don't worry, let's go. We're gonna go together." And this is a moment that will always stay in my heart, because funny enough, I don't recall of it so much, but as I'm talking about perception of success, it's that it was the combination of both um, spirit and material coming together. Spirit because the father, you know, having his blessing, having his support was paramount. And then, the material or physical perception of it was meeting with Louis Vega, who, clearly nourished interest in signing me as an artist and developing my name and helping push my career to a different dimension. So, um, it was a beautiful, beautiful combination of both perception of what success is, right? So you see, at that very moment, I'll pass the details because I wanna develop a little bit more what I mean by perception of success. There's a perception that you have of your own potential or confirmed success, and there's a perception that others have. So what I just gave you is and was my perception. At the time, I did not read it like that, because for me, I was just like, "Oh my God, my dad is coming with me." Damn. I did not even expect him to be king. But then he was like, "Yeah, let's go." And then, I remember my father was this very tall man, 6'2", very handsome. My father was a mix between Ari Belafonte and Barack Obama. Oh man, very handsome brother, man. And he had this demeanor about him that was success. It felt and it smelled like success. He was the epiphany, the epitome of what you would call a successful man, right? And yet I am here, his child, his son, trying to accomplish my own way, carve my own path, outside of what he was trying to build for me, which, as any parents, who truly love their children, you want to do your best to make sure that your kids don't miss anything and that they'll be good. So that's why, a lot of people believe so much in like success being accomplished through studies, etc., 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 when it's not necessarily the format that really is always the most conducive for having one become successful. And so, please, by the way, if there's any problems with volume, do let me know, because I'm still figuring out how to hear myself when I'm talking and I can't. So I'll do my test before the live, but sometimes there might be some little issues. So do not hesitate to, type in a little something if the music is a little too loud, or if my voice is too loud, or whatever the case may be. Let me know. So there's this clear image of success. My father, the man that I look up to, my mother, the woman that I look up to, you know, and yeah, they're successful. As parents, they're doing their best. And, as businesswomen and businessmen, they're doing their absolute best. And here I am trying to accomplish my own, right? And then, you know, then comes a point where the success is challenged. That perception is challenged because you get met by life. Life has a very interesting way of slapping you. At times, you expect her to do that the least, but yet comes for you. And hmm, when it comes, here, here you go. It's a massive turmoil that you enter. Thank you. I'm glad that you can hear that everything's good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ellie. So here I am. I see my parents, um, who have worked so hard in their lives, and who did their absolute best for providing for their family, for us, etc. Um, Losing everything pretty much. And so, in the eyes of most people, because there was a maintaining, there was a sense of maintaining that that allure, that appearance in a way. Like, you're not going to show people that you're not good. Trying to keep you obviously, you don't live the same lifestyle that you used to have, but you're not going to start like walking around like a bum. you know and you're going to do your best to be as clean and as up to par as possible, because yeah, you have your pride. And I think that was a very pivotal moment for me when it came uh, upon our path that yeah, the parents had lost everything. Your name, the name of the family, because that's another thing that's very important, right? For a lot of families, it's like you're ruining the name of the family. You are this and that. But in this case, when people start dragging you to the mud, into the mud, sorry, and portraying you as what you're not, etc., etc., etc. Some of my mother's friends making fun of her or talking behind her back, starting to call her certain names, etc. Well, obviously they were not friends, but these were circumstantial friendships that happen to be proven to be completely fake whenever there is an obstacle coming your way. Those people run out of the boat the moment water comes in. So, like rats indeed. And so that perception of success got challenged. However, the mindset of success never, never, never failed to be present in my father's way of functioning, in my mother's way of functioning. Like, they were adamant on making sure that it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. Y'all gotta do your part. We all gonna be fine. And there was a sense of resilience that this is okay. It's fine. It's fucked up. Yes. Do we deserve it? No. They have helped so many people, this and that and the other, but it has nothing to do with that. It's just shit happens, right? Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter whatever. And then yet you'll say, yeah, but all the evil people have it good. Well, do they? That's the question. Anyway, so success, which at first, in my perception, was characterized by, to a certain extent, good grades, making my parents and my family proud, and making money, this and that. Switched to something where I actually saw my parents, obviously, themselves, because of what they were going through, switched their perception of what success was. They had to review everything. Like, they have the whole relationship, even as wife and husband and wife, got put into perspective. Their own perception of themselves, etc., etc. So all that was somehow glued together by one common thing, which was understanding that if you don't cultivate inner strength, whatever is going to come out will not only be weak, vain, but will be destroyed by the simple blow of a wind. So before you put yourself out there, make sure that here you're 100%. And that's the hardest part, because now starts your doubts. I have seen my father start doubting himself because he couldn't provide for the family anymore for a while. When he was the provider, when he was the mighty provider, and he was so generous, and he helped out people by the dozens and by the hundreds, and he was so generous, and yet he couldn't provide the bare minimum for his children. We were already kind of grown at that time anyway. I was well in my early 20s, so all good, But my younger sisters were obviously still young, and so you see, I saw the sufferance that came with having had that lifestyle that they had to build from zero. That's another important thing. Nobody gave it to them. They built whatever they built until where they got, and then they lost everything. So it's really, really difficult for you when you build something, lose it, or everything falls apart, and then you have to rebuild. It takes a lot mentally, and that's where I saw something that really, to this day, is my motto when it comes to what success means to me. Is the resilience that my father showed. Waking up every day trying to find solutions, getting on the phone. Yes, there was debts. It was mad. They did a lot of mistakes with their money. They were, because at that point they were trying to make things happen, but then it wasn't happening, and then it was just like, oh my God, just terrible choices after terrible choices, but still trying to make it happen, still trying to do it. Then him living, going to traveling to different countries, then going to Mali, where he lived for about 6 years, and try to make things happen. And then he did make things happen, but then things fell through again. His business got stolen by a guy who one day I think I'll be suing that guy in due time. He's still profiting from money that he doesn't deserve, and a company that he stole. But that's for another topic. But with that being said, I've seen my father resilient. I've seen my father maintaining the mindset of success, which was believing in himself, believing in his capacity to always be capable of doing wonders for as long as he could breathe. And that instilled in me this sense of resilience even more so, because I was like, well, if this man went through being disgraced, being disrespected, being all of that, and still had a love in his heart, still had compassion for the people that did wrong to him. Oh, I was like, oh man, you're a king. You're a true king. Perception of success is not about what people see. Is what do you see? And what do you identify as success? As a kid, my father always told me, all these stories that you see here, all of these things, they are not yours. I bought these for you. So technically, it's a loan. I can take that back from you anytime you start acting a fool. I remember I was 16 years old and I was acting a fool indeed. I was being a little moron. I never took for granted anything anymore after that. And I understood that somebody successful is somebody who does all they can, all she can, all he can, all they can to make ends meet. But beyond that, to continue dreaming, to continue believing when all odds seems to be against you, when all odds seems to be telling you that you are not gonna succeed, you're not deserving. Who the hell are you? What do you think? Who do you think you are? Are you mad? Are you serious? Come on, man. You can't be serious. You're not gonna get there. You can't do this. Oh, man. Give up already. Give up. Give up. Come on, give in. And this is when you actually show yourself and those who didn't believe in you that success isn't always what you see. Success, well, actually no. Success is what you see, but you don't see what is done underneath it in the backhand of the whole thing of this whole show. You don't know what's going on. You don't know all the work that is necessary in order for you to be able to then, display that, success, so that people can perceive you as. But now we're talking about which kind of success here. What is success to you? What is success to you in terms of, is success material? Is success money related? Is it having a Lamborghini? Is it having, whatever it is that you think is a material acquisition that, is a display of success? Because I can tell you for a fact, and I'm pretty sure you know that yourself, there's a lot of people that will act as they are, but yet they are completely unsuccessful in believing in themselves. Therefore, they are not successful. So whatever you see of them is not a true reflection of the reality. You see, one thing my father told me: don't brag. Don't brag. Stay humble. But let no one tell you that you are not capable of doing something. If you want to do it, do everything in your power to make it work, make it happen. Look, I'm not saying anything new. If you're watching, motivational, stuff online and stuff, but I'm just sharing my personal story, which is the story of my father, obviously, but it's also mine in the sense that in my industry, in the entertainment world, as you can obviously imagine, entertaining is about showing people, bragging, showing off, acting as, your shit don't stink, acting as, you're better than this, you're better than that, and, you got it all figured out. And yet, when you get home, you treat your loved ones like shit. You probably slander your woman, slander your kids. You know, you probably drink yourself to sleep. God knows what you do. And that's the fuckery that's going on in the world right now that's messed up. And it's even more emphasized by this global pandemic. And that's why family, you know, this whole year has been by far one of the most drastic, terrible, challenging, nightmare, whatever you want to call it. But if there's one thing that this year showed us, is that, or at least I won't say showed us, but showed me, people don't change, or rarely do. Rarely do. I changed, but I went through a set of experiences that lead me to change my sense of what success was. Because in my idea, it wasn't necessarily about like having all this or that. Obviously, that's a result of hard work. Having a nice house, having this, having a car, having that, da, da, da. That's great. And obviously, we all want stability, right? But that's a different thing. Success, stability, and all those are completely different concepts. But what I'm seeing is that there is a it's almost like a bunch of drug addicts, right? COVID hits, everybody was like, oh my God, let's all call each other, let's all be close to one another, let's all be this, let's all be that. But the next thing you know, everybody got back to the same old habits of nourishing and pushing a distorted and presentation of success that makes them look as though whatever they are doing, whatever they are displaying is amazing, and they are succeeding at that, succeeding at being the best mother, being the best father, being this, or driving the best private jet, or being there. There's nothing wrong in doing all that if you truly are balanced and if you truly have nourished what is here. But if you nourish everything that's around, everything that's outside of you except you, there's going to come a point where you will meet a wall that will be very, very, very brutally and abruptly positioned on your journey. And at the velocity at which you're going, it's going to be a complete and total wreck. Might be necessary for you to wake up. But we've seen as well, some people never woke up from it, figuratively and also non-figuratively. So let's take an opportunity from this, the fact that we're getting to the end of this absolutely appalling year, to identify, I would have to say conclusion, but it's not really a conclusion, but in a way to add a little bit more clarity to the topic. The two types of success. So I took some notes. First success that we all think of is the success related to material acquisition. you know, to how people perceive us. So, for example, fame, money, fortune, then um, likability, and how influential you are because of what you um, showcase that makes people perceive you as successful. That's material success, right? And here's the second, the one that people think about the least, but which, in my opinion, is the number one and probably the hardest part of achieving success. Number one, because they go together eventually. That success is the who you are, the who you are. Who am I? What are you? That's the success I want to talk about. If you succeeded in finding out who you are, and you see, that success, you're successful at understanding who you are when you start mastering your emotions, your sense of belonging, um, your sense of being. You are successful when you've nourished a level of humility, wisdom, integrity, um, accountability, and courage. Those are some of the necessary traits that are required for that emotional spiritual success, I think. If we break it down, mastering yourself consists of what? Looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing what's not going well, what's going okay, what can be enhanced, what is already fine, etc., etc. Controlling your emotions. You know, when you see a certain situation that may trigger you in a certain way, you do your best to try to change your behavior towards that situation. You do your best to understand that, well, it may not be going my way, but it is going one way. That's the best way for that given situation. It may not serve what I had intended, but ultimately, we will see where all that takes us. So, acceptance. Sometimes you have to surrender to a force that is beyond your capacity. That's humility. The wisdom resides in the fact, in my opinion, wisdom when it comes to that is about understanding that you can't you can't you can't judge others for sinning just like you do. Acknowledge who you are. Make peace with who you have been, who you are now. Welcome the new you. Make place for the new you. And in order for that new you to be, you have to let that old you go. In the sense of its, afflictions, addictions, reactions, etc., etc. And you might tell me, but how do I do that? Because there's only one me. You're right. But there's different realities of you. I have changed. The man that I was a year ago is not the same man that I am now. And even though fundamentally I still am the same person, so many things within me have changed. I've succeeded in evolving as a human being, as a man in a society and in an environment that requires constant adaptation, adaptability, because nothing and absolutely nothing is permanent. Integrity. Integrity is holding high the level of treatment you give others, because that's how you want and you wish to be treated in return. You can't be expecting to be treated well and then treat others like they are, in French we call it quantité négligeable. Worthless, not important. But sometimes, as a human, you may be led to do things, behave in a certain way that will, make it feel like, you lack integrity. Circumstantially, if we go into details, there's many ways to look at it. Courage. Courage is about probably one of the thing that is the most difficult to be courageous when all odds are against you. When you are trying to achieve that success number one, the material one, getting that whip or having a nice house or just a decent house. Courage to fight. That courage to believe in the dreams that everybody tell you not to believe in. That everybody's trying to discourage you from pursuing. Because it's been done before. But, don't believe anyone. Because what you will do is going to be different. Just like what I'm doing now, having this conversation. It's looking like a monologue, but it really is something that is of value. At least I believe it, and I hope it is. But you can get that from so many other, and even more refined, speakers and life coaches and etc. 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 This is just my humble 2 cents to the conversation. It takes courage to want to be able to just switch on this microphone, set everything up, and start talking about this type of topics to expose yourself in a certain way. Use yourself as a mean to not even be an example, but just to say, hey, you know what? It's possible. Believe in your dream. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Believe that you can do this whole setup yourself. Yeah, you might need a little bit of help, but the rest you can work it out. Believe that if you don't know how to write a letter, all you got to do is search for the knowledge. Whatever. Courage. It takes courage to believe in yourself. It takes courage to believe in something that nobody else believes in. It takes courage to believe in people that don't want you to believe in them. It takes courage to love people that don't want you to love them. It takes courage to love yourself when everything inside you is telling you not to do so. It takes a lot of courage. And yet, this is the very courage and everything else I mentioned before that represents the body of work that is required. In my opinion, is that body of work that will help you. Now set the blessings, set the opportunities. That's why I was talking about opportunities as I started this conversation. It will set the opportunities for you in your life that only through wisdom and via wisdom will you be able to perceive and tap into and grab. Because a foolish person that gets satisfied easily by whatever sense of accomplishment, of success they think they've achieved, will not see the bigger picture. They'll be happy taking that $10,000. Yeah, it's mine. Hey, there was 10 million there. Had you just waited a little bit, not burn any bridges, not do anything silly. Had you given this or that a chance, something much greater could have come. We are all masters of our own destinies. So we shall do what we deem necessary for us to be who we choose and who we want to be, how we want to be, and with whom we want to share that being with. Because who you share that being with is very important. Success is also knowing how to choose very well and very mindfully who is around you and for which reason and what purpose. Because be careful of those who flatter you. And whenever you have your back turned, are ready to take you down. Because all they are is a reflection of who you are. And if what you are is not stable, you're not going to have stable people around you. Don't seek advices from people who are not capable of, in the eye of the storm, keep their calm. When everyone else is going completely mad, the person that's calm is the person you need to talk to. Because the wisdom and the knowledge you're going to gain from that person is far greater than what you would get for somebody who's in the midst of dealing with their emotions and not even knowing what the hell they're doing or what the hell they're saying. And then they might lead you to your own loss while they save themselves. Don't you find it funny when you try to save somebody from drowning, you end up being the one drowning and them somehow being the one surviving. And most of the case, y'all both die, but you see, be mindful. Success has many, many, many sides, and it means many different things for people. I'm not here to tell you what it needs to be for you, but at least for me, it's definitely number 2. The success, the spiritual success, the emotional, the accomplishment, the mastering, and achieving the capacity to truly master how I think, how I function, how I feel, how I evolve as a human. To be a master of my destiny is the number 1 success. My destiny in the sense of what do I see the man I am here now doing and being in the next maybe year, 5 or 10 years to come or beyond. But yet still being here, anchored, present, and resilient, and decided to make sure that I make every move I make and I embark myself on count. If you don't master yourself, you will not be able to master and control material success. If you spiritually are not aligned, if you spiritually intellectually you're not seeking for the right information from the right people. And believe me, that knowledge sometimes is so painful because it has you face sides of your personalities and of who you are, some of your shortcomings in ways that are so shameful. But there's no shame in willing to learn and grow. There's shame in actually willing to stuck in your ways and thinking that it's okay to be the way you are because that's just the way you are. That's whack, in my opinion. Perception of success, family, isn't success. It's like a camouflage. We can all look a certain way. And this is the world we're in, this is the era we're in, all about appearances. I'll say that I do the same to a certain extent because of who I am, the image I have, what I represent. There are certain things I cannot express. There are certain emotions I cannot necessarily show. There's a certain reserve. You have to keep an image. You have to, because hey, you know what? I chose that role in a way. I was raised to be that for my family, and I became that for others in a way. You become that. Yo, Boddhi, you can't break. We count on you. Well, all right. Success is also knowing when to say, hey, you know what? If I want to continue being that person you rely on and you can count on, I need to take a moment to recharge my batteries. I need to take a moment to master once again myself because I got lost. We get lost in our roles, in our missions, in the self-entitled, roles we give ourselves sometimes. We decide to play a role in people's life that nobody really asked us, but I guess because it was there and nobody was willing to take it, and it's your nature, then you decide to take it upon you to do whatever you're doing for others. But what do you do for yourself? And that doesn't mean that because you're looking after yourself and you're taking care of yourself, you are a bad person. If anything, being a little bit selfish sometimes, a little bit, and knowing where to place your ego in the sense where you don't allow certain things to happen a certain way to you, and you don't lower yourself to standards that are not yours. It's something that is very important. It's valuable for your mental health. It's valuable for who you are as a human being. Be successful at first mastering yourself, mastering your emotions. It's not easy, but you can do it. As I said to you last week, I was not doing too well. I'm still not doing too amazingly well. I'm emotionally, I got my own stuff going on. But I have such a sense of resilience. And I've humbled myself in front of my emotions. Meditate, give thanks, appreciation, and love, most importantly, love. It's really true. If you cultivate love in your heart, there won't be any more room for anything else. And because of that energy, which is profound, which is amazing, very hard, you will always be able to surface out of the dark and scary waters you may find yourself in emotionally at times in life. Success is having an idea that you will nourish, just like you plant a seed and you pour water upon that seed in that soil. You nourish it every day and you give thanks and you let the universe makes its part or do its part, or God, whatever you want to call it, whoever you want to call it, that's going to intervene in this uh, process. That idea will bear opportunities. It will start giving you access to opportunities that you didn't think of or you didn't imagine were possible. But that's because you believed in the idea itself. And I think that this is what is the beauty, is that because you've nourished the idea, the opportunity grew out of that idea. It became manifested physically. The wisdom and the you must be humble in front of that opportunity showing itself to you, and wise enough to take it. Because sometimes people are foolish and they refuse. They refuse to take it because they say, oh, well, that person needs it more than me. Maybe, but that's for you to judge at that very moment, whatever is going to be the call you're going to have to make. Once you've seized the opportunity, you have to be committed, dedicated. You cannot outfast that shit. You cannot fake yourself around it. It's impossible. You have to be committed, consistent, determined. And that's how the success will be manifested. All of these things, in my opinion, are some of the most important ingredients. But if there's no love to shelter all of these, to be the umbrella, it's not going to last very long. Nourish love in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind. Don't be stupid. Don't be foolish, though. Being about love and all that doesn't mean that you can't still slap somebody when they need to. you can respectfully and with love slap somebody into some sense. And I'm not suggesting here that you need to be violent with anyone, but I think you get the idea. So I hope that this Monday Quality Talks has been fruitful for you, entertaining maybe at times. Perception of success starts with you. So how do you perceive yourself? How do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing? If you want, I don't know, you want to have a loving partner, then before it comes, you need to already feel it. If you want to send love to somebody, you don't have to wait for them to be physically with you to send them love or show them love. Send it to them with your mind, with your heart, with your thoughts. Man, we're so powerful as humans. And yet, we fall back so easily into becoming mediocre and letting mediocre thoughts and ideas pollute our perception. My family in music, in art, I thank you very much It was nice talking to you. I'm honored and humbled by your presence. Uh, and yeah, man. See you next week. I believe next next Monday talks will be, huh? It will be the week before Christmas, right? So I hope y'all gonna be celebrating though. On a side note, a week off of the topic. Now that I'm done talking about recipient of success. Thank you, family. Thank you very much. Thank you. Um, yeah, Christmas is gonna be wild, man. Um, I'm gonna be celebrating with my mother and my partner, and it's gonna be chilled. But it's a weird year, man. It's a weird year. I think it's for me, um, and for all of us actually, such a yeah, man. I'm not even gonna try to bullshit you on this one, man. It's a fucked up year. Learned a lot. Learned a lot. That's the beauty, I guess, we can take from it. We always got to find some sort of meaning behind things. But the finding beauty in all of that is important. But the reality is like, yo, it's been a rough year, man. That's why I'm talking so much about love, yo. You know, and as I said, working on your mental health is very important. I'm telling y'all, man. I've been going through it. Plus on top of that, I had my own set of challenges and dealing with a couple of personal things that were painful. Um, but nothing unsurmountable. When you cultivate this sentiment of love unconditionally, for yourself and for others, you understand with more compassion. It may not be always easy. It may not always be, and it's not easy at all, believe me. But it's so necessary, man. It's so necessary. You can't you can't bring healing to people who don't want you to bring them healing. They don't want that healing from you. You can't bring peace to people who don't want that peace from you. You can't bring anything or give anything to anyone who doesn't want whatever you have to offer or to give if they don't want it to be coming from you. That's why you have to just, put your ego aside and be like, okay, it's your right. And, all love. You might even say fuck you. But fuck you with love. Thank you very much. It's all about fuck you. But even that is not necessary, man. I think that there's power in words, There's power in words, and sometimes we say things that have such an impact. That's why it's very important to pace yourself. That's success. Being successful at taking a moment to breathe in, breathe out. Okay. I know that when I'm mad, I'm not necessarily good at listening because I need to prove my point. So that's the work I'm doing on myself, Especially if I know that I'm not necessarily wrong, then the problematic is that when you know you're not necessarily wrong, or you think you're not necessarily wrong, you're not carrying your point across the way you should be doing it, because it's from a place of, you know, so from the perception of success that you wanted to showcase as you being in control and all that, you literally displayed a capacity of being chaotic and unsuccessful at, you know, what you had preached to be in the first place. You know, so everything I do is done with intention, is intentional profoundly, and I take to heart, you know, to make sure that when I even do these talks, as you can see, I'm taking notes, I'm writing down ideas, and, you know, try to do a little work to make sure that it's a bit structured, and it also is intentional and doesn't just impact you but also impact me, because as I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself. I'm reminding myself of things that I know and that I need to practice. And so, with that being said, family, um, this is as close, up close and personal as it gets with me. I'm a bit mellow. I'm not mellow. I'm just calm. I like to, you know, develop things a little bit and talk about topics that I think are important, because we all need to hear certain things. I'll tell you this. Additionally to everything else that I said, right, about, but it all comes down to success, being successful at, you know, overcoming challenges. I recently went through a breakup with a woman I love dearly, and it was hard. It's not easy, but there was resentment more in the sense that I felt like my love was not, you know, when you feel like you're loving somebody and it's not being received the way you want it to be received, this and that and the other. But truth is that you can't be mad at anyone nor at yourself um, for loving the way you do. However, you need to be wise as to how you're going to treat that person and treat yourself when whatever it is that is the reflection of that love represents for that person, you know. And if they don't want it, or they're not ready for it, or, you know, it just doesn't work for them, you have to accept it. It's not easy, especially during these very challenging times of, you know, dealing with a global pandemic, being at home alone, and all that. It can have a very damaging impact on top of everything else you're going through, which is kind of like, you know, one of the main things that um, you know, a lot of people are going through, you know, and some people resort to some not so nice ways of solutioning that pain, you know. But that's why I say, you know, if at first and you manage to really work on loving yourself, right? Whenever you are rejected, it's not easy. But when it happens, you can understand and see that person with an eye and a heart of compassion, and understand where they're coming from, and forgive them and give them love. Not in the sense of, like, you know, trying to lure them into anything, but just continue to nourish sentiments and feelings and sentiments of love towards that person, because you know what, it's not easy for any of the parties involved. You know, we're going through some very, very, very life-changing times, man, and we need to be thankful for those of us who are still here, and we need to continue giving, grace and thanks for, you know, being able to feel. Some people can't feel anything; they don't give a shit. And I think that as pain can be painful and is painful, it's still a beautiful feeling because it reminds you of the importance of being fully devoted and fully committed to um, being successful at what you um, endeavor to be involved in. I don't know if you can say that in English, but anyway, I might create some new words. But yeah, so that you can be successful at doing what you want to do. And if that is, investing your time in a relationship with yourself, you need to be 100 and actually you need to be 1,000% devoted to that. If it is to be with someone, you need to go through all the phases, because this is the moment where, I had my phase, man. I was like, the whole idea, the whole conception of success, tracks, this, that, and that, and that. You have fun, and everybody is in the know of what's going on, and it's all good. But is it really though? That's the flip side of the coin, which is it's experiences you can't go back. Whatever is done is done, and there's nothing wrong. You're just having fun, and everybody's good with it. But there's a time you have to align yourself and review what are your senses when it comes to your perception of success. For me, success is being able to, at this point, right, in conclusion, is being able to continue making music that I love, that hopefully you will, that will be as sincere and as connected as possible to the realities and the motions and emotions I'm going through as I evolve as a man, as an artist, as a human being, to be able to provide myself a roof, my family, to be able to eat, invest in the future, and hopefully, get together with you guys in the club one day as soon as this whole thing gets sorted. But yeah, that's for the material side of things. But really, for the spiritual side of things, just to really strengthen my the mastering of self, the mastering of my emotions, the mastering of my not so good sides, so that I can control them better, so that I can embrace certain things better, etc., etc. I think that that's our role in life. Is really we're here to learn constantly, and we're here to really. We're not supposed to suffer, and there's so many ways and means that can be used and that are at our reach for us to actually live a more harmonious and peaceful life, no matter the traumas, no matter the distress we've gone through. We have to be open for them. We have to be ready to welcome these blessings and these opportunities of healing. They may come from someone, they may come from something. You don't know where they're coming from, but they're coming. That's where the wisdom is required. That's where you need to take a moment to just say, this situation here, there's something for me to look deeper in it. Let me humble myself and give thanks. You know, let's give thanks, man. You know, that's really what I feel deep in my heart, and that's really what I feel in my spirit is this sense of gratitude, and I really wish that for all of you. You know, because I know that you know we are not all um, at peace in these times for so many various reasons. Some people lost someone very dear to them. We all have, I guess. Um, but I think that it's a constant work. Just because it's okay today doesn't mean it's going to be okay tomorrow. It's constant work, consistent work, dedication to honoring yourself because your life is a gift. You are a gift no matter what people may have told you, no matter what people that you may love may tell you. Because, there's some fucked up motherfuckers out there that are ready to tell you all sorts of shit, manipulate you into believing that you are something else than who you are. So don't do that mistake. Don't make that mistake. You know. Family, thank you very much. This has been Monday Quality Talks, and what an honor and privilege to be able to share some of my personal impressions from now on as a weekly basis. And today we spoke about the perception of success and, you know, the idea behind it, the ideas behind it, and also the complexity of what it means from one person to another. Go and be the best you can be, and that's already massive enough. Oh, by the way, before you leave, a little bit of promotion is very important. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube, scan this thing. So I'm watching two different screens. Basically, here on my left, just scan that QR code and go get yourself some merch. Because don't forget, we're still not getting back to work. DJing and all that is how we make a living, and your support is appreciated. And of course, here in the description section of this video, there is like a PayPal. So if you want to make some donations, they're mostly appreciated. And yeah, it's with gratitude that I will receive your offering, and whichever form it may take, whether you be getting some merch, PayPal, or better yet, streaming the music. I played a couple of exclusives tonight that are not even out yet as instrumentals, and I hope you enjoyed it. Catch me this Friday, Quarantine Grooves 89. Ready for this. Plus, this Friday I have another song coming out, inspired by what I explained earlier, the heartbreak and all that. And it's a beautiful piece. So it has this mellow. It has a little sad feeling, but it's positive at the same time. And I think y'all gonna like it. It's all about, again, it's all about honoring, and being grateful for the person that you've decided to give your heart to, and no matter the outcome, whatever was exchanged was of such a beautiful and powerful level that that is what is the most important. Fam, have a blessed week. Be mindful of your health, mentally, physically. Work out, do what you need to do. Eat well, hydrate yourself, some water, and see you Friday. Also, if you like the show, make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much, family. God bless you. and I shall see you very, very soon indeed. Take care.